All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Expert Trader podcast series. A very special episode today. We have two very special guests in the house today. The talk of the town right now, Mr. James Storms, and of course, the OG and the GOAT, Mr. Quillen Black, is in the building. Welcome, both of you guys, to the Expert Trader podcast series.
Pleasure to
What's
be
good?
here.
What's good? What's good?
Great to have you guys here. So it's a very interesting day. James, do you want to tell the folks at home why today is a very interesting day?
It's interesting because I pulled a doctor's salary in a couple hours.
He said he pulled a doctor's salary in a couple hours. 200K day, very exciting. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the psychology and the mindset that it takes. There's nobody better to speak on the topic of having big trading days other than Quillen Black and James Storm. So happy to have you guys here.
Definitely.
Q, good to have you, my man. What's been new since we last spoke to you?
I mean, it's a lot of shit going on, bro. It's always a lot of shit going on. A lot of projects, a lot of just, focusing more on just, the outside things other than just trading, just like kind of like, reap the benefits from trading those big days and over the years and everything. It's like, just focusing on things that I'm building up on the outside of trading, I feel like now,
Okay, that's awesome. So you got like other ventures going on. How's the compound going?
Compound is being worked on at the moment. We're actually doing version 1 at the moment, because version 2 was I had to put that on. Version 2 is like that final project, the project that I showed everyone, and that's gonna run me like 2.2 million to even finish. But seeing how that prices on the materials and that kind of stuff, how it went up in price, I'm like, it's better that I just wait a little bit and then pretty much work on version 1, and it's like on a smaller scale of that, but not put out so much money at this point in time,
100%.
So version 1 is gonna have like the basketball court, still like a little car garage, a whole vibe still. But version 2 is something that I'm gonna be working towards, though, But seeing
Okay.
that that's something that the compound is something that it's not like it's something that I'm making money from. It's literally just for fun,
Right.
So I don't want to waste 2.2 million just for fun, So I'd rather wait until prices go down a tad bit more and then actually build it up like how I want to.
Okay, for sure. All right. I appreciate you breaking that down for us. I know some folks at home are like, why are these two people on the same podcast? James, can you explain your relationship with Q and how you got to know Q?
But yeah, I mean, Q is the one who put me on. It's my first, the first experience I had with trading Forex. I met someone at Dunkin' Donuts who just pulled out their phone and is like, yo, you got to follow this guy on Instagram. His name's Q Banks. Like, he, I didn't know shit about it at first. And, I just saw what he was doing and I was like, yo, I want to be a part of that. Like, and the rest is history, just following the footsteps.
There you go. Q, do you remember James's early days?
All too well, and he knows that. So, like, I remember. You remember that one time when you did a? It's funny because like I was teaching a couple classes this one time, and I always showed it. He had so this is when I've been to that James was gonna make bank and everything, whatever, right? But look, so he was using Trader's Way, right? So like if you know about Trader's Way, you have up to 1,000 leverage and everything past under $1,000 is 1 to 1,000 leverage, right? So he actually had a $850 account, and he had like up to like 40 lots pushing on that, which means that each and every time that he had certain orders that were building his equity, but the balance never ever exceeded 1 to 1,000. So like it being that it maintained 1 to 1,000 leverage the entire time, and he had balance $840 some, equity like around $50,000, only because he never ever closed any orders. So like it maintained 1 to 1,000 leverage the entire time. I had the screenshot somewhere, but it was just that like right there. And then he pretty much had some crazy ass orders, but it added up to like around 40 lots with $800 and something balance. The equity is what really mattered, but at the same time, like that was him being smart with trading because he was actually making sure that the leverage maintained 1 to 1,000. So like just smart stuff like that always stood out. You know what I'm saying? So like that he had did 25,000 to like 800,000 or something like that. He had did, it was a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? So like James has always been on the same kind of vibe that I fuck with because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'll take an account and I'll fucking build it as best as I can. And I feel like people have the perception that, and this is what I woke up thinking, right? Because somebody was like, yo, like you don't have blah blah blah. Like I don't show history, and that kind of, I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about that personally. Like, give me an account, I'll build it, make my money, and then I'll go on with my life. You know, like some people have the perception that you're supposed to have one account and then build it for the rest of your life. That's just dumb as fuck, personally. But people that think like that, they slow their progression with trading so much because they feel like they want to be that person that has 2 years of history and show all these consistent trades. Are you fucking making money or are you not making money? That's what it comes down to, right? So me and James' mindset is you have an account, let's build that shit up. You know, it can be slow, it can be aggressive, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was money made or was money not made? And that's what it comes down to. So like, we'll take an account, 10K build up to 100,000, 200,000, whatever, and then keep on doing that based off of a certain account that we're playing with. And that alone, I feel like we have different styles of people, because some people want to build that long-term account that is good to show other people, but I like to just just build an account. That's it.
I know that you said that you were looking at Q's journey. What were some things that you took away from Q that are helping you nowadays, kind of push yourself to the next level?
You hear me? Yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, just taking the 5-day course definitely was a step above, like, his actual course. Like, I mean, the course is great and everything, but my biggest takeaways were more the psychological aspects of just how to carry yourself in the charts and like how you should, how your mindset should be. So, like, my favorite quote that he said in the course was, the most confident person in the room is going to make the most money. So that's something that stuck with me every single day that I trade. I always think about that. So, yeah, just I mean, my philosophy for life is that if someone else can do it, then I can do it too. So, just seeing the actual result of what he's done, just allowed me to do it for myself.
All right, that's perfect. James, I do want to jump into the topic of the day because I want you guys to really talk about this from a practical perspective. I want you to talk about your 200K day today. I saw it happen. It was kind of crazy because it was really casual. You were just chilling in the same place. Numbers were running, whatever it is. I want you to talk about your mindset from the time that you entered the trade to the time that you actually decided to pull. Q, I don't know if you knew this. He's at 178K, and he wants to go to 200. And I'm like, bro, are you sure you don't want to close half? Are you sure you don't want to close it? And he's like, I'm not closing until I see 200. You know what I'm saying?
Which is a terrible thing.
And I'm
to
not saying that that's advised, but at the end of the day, I think that I think that his conviction and that level of I'm not gonna get shaken was huge. So, James, you want to walk us through it, and then Q, I want you guys to kind of just go back and forth about this.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been eyeing it for a while. Like, Nasdaq hit 15,000, like, was a super liquid level. And just was catching the retracement. But I actually got stopped out, like, in a light position before it actually ran. But just the structure never broke. Like I was, saying to you, like, hey, you should close. But I'm like, look, that's something I'm really improving on, because, like, when you trade big leverage, like, you're always gonna leave. You're always going to leave money on the table, and you're not going to maintain things properly, and it's going to really, like, test your mindset and your willpower. But the market never really gave me a reason to close at that time, so I was like, if the market is just going to continue making lows, then I'm just going to hold it. And even still, like, I left another 150, 200 after FOMC, but, like, I mean, obviously at a certain point, like, enough is enough, and especially with the news, like, I don't really like to participate in the news because it's like it's more gambling at that point. The liquidity, the execution is bad, so I don't like to fuck with the news.
Q, you said that you kind of had a reaction when I said that he wanted to hold the 200K, but maybe it wasn't the best idea. How do you feel about holding versus closing, and how do you think about that?
Me knowing James, like, I mean, I get it 100%, because you want to hit that certain milestone. So like why am I going to stop until I hit that certain milestone? I'm not gonna like lower my expectation of something because of someone else and everything. So like, even if someone else is on edge because they like, yo man, like, I don't know, bro, but at the same time you're so confident in what you in like your analysis and that kind of stuff, like, you're not going to close, so that part alone, like, I get that part 100% honestly, like, just being confident in like what you understand, like, and like what you see, and not taking no for an answer, you know? So I get it.
So from my perspective, I'm thinking, there's two ways this can go. You have two thoughts. What if the market retraces and I lose all this money? Or what if it goes to the next target? How do you keep yourself in line with thinking about what could happen in a positive way, as opposed to thinking like, oh, what if this retraces on me?
So I mean, I've got fucked many times, like when it comes to that, like right there, honestly. Like let's say if I'm up what? Let's say I'm up 300,000, like, and this was like the other day. I woke up, it's back at 200 and something thousand. Ended up closing at 200,000. It's all you're all like James said, like you're always gonna leave money on the table, like when it comes to big leveraging, you know. But I always have to like take a step back and think like, God damn, like did I just make a person's salary that went to college for like 8, 10 years in like, you know, in a short amount of time. So it's kind of like, you got to think on like that perspective, like, yo, like I did shit that people don't do every single day. So like, why am I even tripping? Like, even if I closed out 50K short of like my milestone, like that's still great money. That's still money that could change my life. I could buy this, I could buy that, I could buy a house. You could still have a super level up with any amount over 6 figures. You know, like over like it could be 150, it could be 200, it could be 300. Like even if you missed out on an extra 100,000 or extra 200,000, like you still did a great thing in a short amount of time compared to a lot of people inside the world. You know, so like you got to think on like the majority of the population, like what are they doing? You know, to like make yourself a bit more humble, like when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I mean, we do this shit, you know, but at the same time, like it's something that you got to kind of just always keep like a level headed with, because you kind of get a little bit, you know, like
Yeah,
lost
tunnel
in the
vision.
fact that you just made fucking 6 figures in a short amount of time, you know?
Right.
So yeah, man, it's like something that it's like a consistent um learning curve, because you can never ever get used to the fact that you just made 6 figures and it's not enough, you know?
Right. Yeah, it almost it doesn't even feel real, like sometimes you don't even like, for me, I put the perspective of just how many hours like it would take somebody to do that, even at a good ass job, like it would take a long time, let alone like, some type of minimum wage or something. It would take someone years and years of their life. So like I'm just grateful, like, to even have access to something like that.
James, can you talk about the emotion that you felt when you finally hit close? Because you were in a little bit of contention. You wanted to hold and you wanted to close. When you finally hit the rapid close, close on all the trades, what was that feeling that came right after? Can you kind of describe that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put into words sometimes because it doesn't really hit you until like, I feel like it doesn't hit you until you start spending the money and you actually like realize what you can do with it. Like for right now, even still, like it's in my account. Like I have to withdraw it. Like I haven't even realized that I haven't even touched it yet. So it's more so like what you do with it and like the freedom it brings and the things like that. But I mean, if it was my first time, I definitely I was elated like the first time I did 6 figures, like I was super, super elated. But I mean, I'm still so happy, obviously, but I feel like it hasn't really, really hit yet, still. And I haven't slept. I'm tired of shit, so.
Um, who are the first people that you called after you had that 200K day, and what
Called my
was the
mom.
series of the conversations like?
I mean, the first person I always call is my mom. I usually I wait if it's 6 a.m. I just wake her up, like FaceTime her, like wake her up out of bed, and I'm like, hey, like, I was funny. I said, guess what? And she's like, oh, you made like $1 million bajillion or something like that, and I was like, yeah, that's what happened. So I mean, she's super proud of me and everything, like, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like even my own parents didn't believe in me, like, when I was eating shit with trading for like a long time, and like that's the most important thing, is that you believe in yourself above what anybody, literally even the closest people in your life, might doubt you. And like my parents used to come in my room and like I didn't go to college, like, I lied to my parents for 2 years saying I was going to school. I never went to school because I just knew that shit was not for me, and I just was, I was trading. And they would come in my room every day and say, get a job, you're a bum, this, that, and the other thing. Like, and that's very discouraging, So, but if you really believe in yourself, like, as cliche as that shit is, like, it's, you got to work hard and make it happen.
James, I know it's really hard to have a lot of people doubt you and a lot of people not believe in you. What do you feel like kept you going during those times that made you see something that was beyond your physical reality? You kind of had that potential in your mind. What do you think kind of drove you?
I would definitely say just, just being in the space, I mean, having somebody that I knew and, could talk to on the phone that is doing the things that I want to do, like it's that simple. Like even if nobody's doing it, like, these people do shit that's unprecedented all the time. So fuck it, like anything is possible.
James, is this your first 200K day?
Yeah.
Okay. Q, can you describe your first 200K day? And I kind of want to look at the similarities. What did you feel when you had your first 200K day and how was that?
My first 200K day was what was it? I had 176. I came close to 200. Well, first was 100 and 176. Then I I had a 400 and something thousand dollar day actually. Does that count? Does that count? I don't know.
He said, yeah. Does it count? James, does it count?
Yeah, it fucking counts.
Yeah, so I did then what trade was it on? So like I did what was it? It says record.
That was on US 30, right?
What's it? Let's see. Hold on. And this was like my right. Yeah, it was on US 30, like this thing like right here. 400 some thousand. That's the setup that I made my Vans shoes from, actually. It was surreal, bro. It was that was like one thing that was surreal, honestly, because like I think it was so surreal that like James says, like whenever it's in your account, like it's just numbers, so like you can't really feel the difference of like what is actually being done until you actually withdraw, But I was definitely ecstatic, bro. Like I popped some champagne bottles, like I was celebrating that friends over, like like my mom had seen. So like whenever she sees that kind of stuff, like she's always excited for me because at the same time, like that makes her more comfortable knowing that I can also help out the family in many ways also. You know what I'm saying? So like if I win, my whole family wins. So like that's what it came down to. But also like I think after that, like, I had bought my Ferrari Pista immediately. I bought it with that money right there and just just call it a day, bro. Because like that alone just like made me just like start knocking off things on my checklist and everything with like my milestones that I've reached, honestly. So that right there was definitely like a mind-blowing moment, knowing that I did that like in under a day. It's like one of those things that you just can't even believe because the numbers are moving so fast. Like you're seeing 200, 300, 400, like what the fuck is going on? What else is going on? And then all of a sudden, like James said, like I'm texting James, I'm like, yo, James, what did I say? Like, what's the true skill?
Is how fast you can close the order.
How fast you can just press X and close out everything as soon as possible, because the numbers move very, very fast, bro. So I mean, like once I did that, it's like once you press the X button and everything's closed out, you just sit back like, fuck. Like what was that about,
Q, it's a very special moment because you're in a perfect position to have already gone through that. What advice would you give to James about having those kinds of days and then what comes after that and some responsible things or some irresponsible things that you've learned in your journey? What advice could you give to somebody who's coming up?
I mean, I've seen James do like great numbers, but also like mess up on certain things while he's doing those certain numbers, like that $800 and some account that you did was up so and so. He fucked up, and I still tell people this thing till this day. Like if I'm explaining James's trade, I'll say like, all right, James did good on all those trades, but he did something wrong. And what was that, James? Like if you remember, like what did you do?
I entered my biggest positions at the bottom.
Exactly. And I like, he put a 20 lot at the lowest point inside the market, and that killed.
That fucked me over.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you remember that fuck up, because
for sure.
It was such a smooth trade. And I'm like, and then once he did that, I'm like, fuck, okay, it's a wrap. Because it's like those small things, I feel like he's actually grown on over the years. So it's definitely great to see that, he's actually making those big days, but also keeping those big days also. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like those were definitely some learning lessons that he had to actually just learn with experience in this time. and is being more disciplined with how he's going about his trades and how he's leveraging his account, because everything else that he's doing is good. It's just how he actually is moving when he's in the middle of the midst of all those trades and the numbers moving. But seeing how he actually closed out 200K, that says a lot already. You know, that says that he's a lot more disciplined. He's a lot more satisfied with certain numbers being shown on the screen versus trying to actually get to $1 million. You know, because 200K is $200,000 regardless of the fact. You know, and that's still money that can really pump up your bank account a lot.
For sure. All right, so James, do you want to talk about, you've had big days before and you've had large withdrawals before. Does this stand out to you, or is the first one the most special?
Yeah, I would honestly say, yeah, probably. I mean, just that having that first taste of it, after years of just, of just fucking up, like doing well and then just making mistake after mistake after mistake. So, I mean, it still feels great. Like, obviously, it's incredible, but yeah, I mean, I'm financially stable and like I can enjoy myself. I can do whatever I want on the day to day. So like that's what matters most to me. Like I don't care. Like once you get beyond, like everyone thinks, oh, you want a millionaire, this, that. But like, yo, once you can enjoy your day and nobody can really tell you what to do, and you have complete freedom of your time. Like that's the most important thing to me.
Yo, can I touch on that? Can I touch on that, please?
So, Q, do you agree?
I literally spoke about this yesterday. I was talking to someone, all right? And then she's like, yo, Q. And this was a real conversation. She said, yo, Q, so like, what do you like to do nowadays? I'm like, damn, that's a hard question, honestly. Like, I mean, at times I like to travel. At times I like to do like some activities. At times I like to just, have some new business ventures. Like personally, I feel like what I like to do is just to be free. To be free as to do like whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, not having anything time based. I just live, like I like to live, and living meaning doing whatever I want to do within that time span of when I want to do it, So that is like what that meant to me, honestly. Like it's not about just like doing like one thing, like, oh, like I like to just go bike riding. Nah, like, I mean, if I want to get up like right now and go buy a bike and bike ride, then I'm gonna do that, because it's just the freedom of doing literally anything that you want to do at any time because you want to do it. Like that's what I feel like financial freedom is for me nowadays, honestly, just having no limit, and that's the real shit, having no limit, doing whatever.
So, Q, what do you feel like stops a lot of people from hitting the point that you, of James, have hit, where you can kind of take your personal limitations off and you can really zone into the market and you can really take larger risks? Is it being able to accept risk? Is it the technicals? What would you say it is?
I feel like it's the individual, honestly. Like it's just them actually, trying to live based on others' expectations in this field versus, creating your own expectation within this entire field, just like that, like for the expectation of other people, like, oh, they have to have this win percentage, they have to have this, they have to have this, they have to have this. If this is not being done, then it's not. No, not at all. So it's like, just going about it like however you want to go about it, based on what you use it for. Like me and James, I feel like, I mean, we use accounts for, it could be like a nice big ass flip, it could be a nice big move that we want to trade for this entire week or stuff like that, versus feeling like, oh, only make 3% a day, only risk 1%, like that dumb shit. Like I said on a recent webinar, like if a person's only risking 2%, you're not going to be making the kind of money that you want to make. You're not going to be able to travel like how you want to travel. You're not going to have the financial freedom like how you want to have. You're not going to have the kind of cars that you want to have. You're not going to have the kind of house that you want to have if you're only risking 2% or 5%. Like that's just me personally.
If you want to answer the same question, what do you think makes you special?
Yeah, I mean, nothing in particular, bro. Like I said, like anybody can, anyone's capable to do anything. But I think, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. It's just having an eagerness to learn and better yourself and not make the same mistakes twice and things like that. But and also just, I mean, for me, risk tolerance, bro. Like I'm not scared to fucking slap my balls on the fucking table, bro. Like, if I fucking lose them, I lose them, bro. Like, whatever. I've lost them before. I've been, bro. Last year, dog, I had a couple $1,000 in the beginning of the year, bro. I fucked up real bad, and I had a couple grand to my name, bro. And I did some crazy shit, bro.
Talk about your story.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year, in the beginning of the year, bro, I had like like most of my money in a trading account, and I was shorting US 30 like right around late February, before that big crash happened, and I had like 50K in the account, and I got stopped out, and I knew it was gonna drop like right at 9:30. I just went full margin on my account, and I fucking went 200 points straight in profit, and I was floating like $80,000, which was like the biggest trade I had to my career at that time. And I got greedy, and I decided to try and swing it, and it ended up hitting my break even. So I watched all that money slip through my fingers, and I was pretty devastated, like, because in my head I had six figures. I was like, yo, you had six figures, like this was it, even though I never had it, and I kind of went full tilt after that. I was chasing these astronomical trades, but like it wasn't even like I was taking smart risks. I was just taking risks that weren't like that didn't even align with my strategy or anything like that. So I ended up losing like all my money, bro, like almost in one night on gold, where I just had like a really terrible night, bro, and I just no discipline, nothing. And I had a few grand left, and I almost thought about quitting trading, bro, because I was just like, dude, like you really just fucked up so bad, like. And this was when the pandemic happened, and everything was just so uncertain and everything like that. So I ended up moving away from my house. Like I lived in Pennsylvania for a little bit, and eventually I got the confidence back to get on the charts, bro. And I had like $4,000, bro. I put it all in an account. I doubled it again. I had like whatever. I had like 10, 12,000, and then I got money from unemployment. And yeah, I got like 15K from unemployment. I used that. I ended up I took it all out and I bought a car, bro. I spent all my money on this Porsche from my buddy. That was a good price. Like it was like 30 grand I spent on the car. But I barely had fucking gas money to put in it. But I ended up, the car got totaled, bro, like in September of, someone rear-ended me. I was on the highway. This guy tried to race me in this Infinity, bro. I was raining, and like I didn't even. Bro, this guy crashed his car in front of me. He went flying through the air like 10 feet in the air. It was the most like unreal thing I've ever seen in my life. I didn't crash with his car, but I pulled over in the shoulder to call 911. I thought this guy was like dead, and there's some lady crashed into the rear of me, bro. Like like fast, totaled my car, and I ended up getting paid from the insurance company like 43,000. So like I ended up making like 15 on the car, and I took that money, like, hit my account. I was like, yo, this is it. My back's against the wall. Like, this is my opportunity. And that's when I did in November, when I did the 30K to like 200,000. And that's what kind of like popped me off, like I got a lot of exposure, Q shouted me out and everything like that. And like my confidence was like on a new level at that point. I was like, yo, like, because at that point, like I had nothing, bro. And I, like, so to me, it doesn't matter. I can go back to having nothing because I could do this shit again. It doesn't matter. So like that was just like the best thing that happened to me. And then from there, bro, shit just changed real fast, bro. Like not even a year ago, bro, I was in that position. Less than a year ago. 8, 9 months.
Yeah, shit changes quick.
Yeah. So all we got to do is just not go back. What I think about I was being conservative with the risk. Actually, the first trade I took was like I risked like 10%. I mean, that's aggressive, but like 10% for me on 30K is like that's whatever. It's 3,000. Like that's reasonable for me. So I ended up, the first trade I took was like a 1 to 10 risk to reward. I made like 38,000, risking like 3,500 or something like that. And then after that, like I just started bugging out in the trades. I was like, whatever, and I had made like 120,000 within 24 hours. And then but the biggest thing that I ever did was click withdraw, bro. Like I withdrew $100,000 because I knew earlier in the year like how bad shit got, and I let that money slip through my fingers. So it's not real until you actually take it out, touch it, like I sold the Bitcoin, I had the cash, bro, like, that was one of the best moments like of my life, honestly, just touching that money and it being real to me,
Yeah, because like I feel like James was always into like like just reinvesting into like Bitcoin and everything. Like even to this day, like his name in my phone is Mr. Bitcoin. So, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like James saying that like he was like down very 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 hard, and then he could build himself back up with no pressure because he's been inside that spot before. Like I feel like that's a very very important thing because even like when he had took the class like back in 2017 or stuff like that, like even when he took his test, like you could see how eager he was to like make a great amount of money. I think like his account on the test was like 10,000 or 20,000, like, And then he was like, yeah, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. So like, it was always like that mindset, and just like, you know, trying to grow, but grow, you know, kind of hard at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like James was always on like that path to becoming like this great trader. It was only just a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? It was only a matter of time, which is time and experience.
Wow, that's amazing. I love how you're kind of like looking back at where James was when he was starting, because I feel like this perspective is so unique and not a lot of people get that opportunity. I do want to hear it from James, how his story was when he was starting out. Like, you know, kind of, did he have a rough patch in the beginning? James, do you feel like your journey was pretty straightforward, or do you feel like it was very just turbulent all around?
I mean, I think it was turbulent because I made it turbulent. You know, like I was very aggressive with how I traded. You know, like because I didn't really. Well, when I first started trading, I didn't really have any losses or any like bad history to think about. So I kind of just. I mean, the third day I got back from the 5-day course, I turned $400 into like 6,200 in one day, in like one session. Like I took 63 scalps.
What were you
like,
trading?
I was trading EU and UJ. I was like just scalping using like a little price action. RSI, I would catch like 10 pips with a lot, 2 lots, whatever. But I took 63 trades in the session. I won every single one. And
Every single trade?
Every single trade. Yeah, every single trade.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't even going crazy, but and then I ended up flipping that account to like 20,000. That's when I took my first big loss. I was actually trading with Quillen. Like I called him one day and I was like, "Yo, NZD USD looks like we should wait for him to come back."
Yeah, you'll tell the story in a second. Tell us the story. Tell us the story about your first 100K day. Let's talk about like your first like major day, and then we'll come back to the story. When
yeah.
Q
So
gets back
I
on.
mean, the first floating profit I had was like 80 or 90,000 with last year, but my first 100K day was that $30,000 deposit I put in on November 11th. I deposited, and by November like 13th, I had made 120,000 profit. Like the first trade I took was on US 30, a short, and I have very my risk to rewards are pretty solid. So I usually I do pretty well with that. So I risked 10%, and I ended up getting like a 1 to 10. I risked 30 points, and I caught 300 in like one session. And yeah, then after that, I just started going crazy. Like I was just not being, not bugging out, but I was like, all right, whatever. I just made 40 grand. Like I have this profit to play with, like I'm not afraid to risk, because I know there's also rewards on the other side of it.
Right before we get back into the story that you were going to talk about with the trade with Quillen, can you explain that period where you were thinking about quitting trading? What pulled you through that, and what was your mindset like during that period?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was going through a lot of things. Like, I know I had broken up like with this girl that I was like really in love with, and the pandemic was happening, so obviously things were so uncertain. And I was from New York, bro, and New York was really affected by the pandemic. So I kind of moved away from home, and I have asthma, bro. So like I was really not taking any chances. So, I was just in my own element, bro, kind of just doing my own thing, and I really felt like I had no direction, like I was watching all my friends graduate college and get degrees and all these things, and I'm like, damn, I just blew all my money. I don't have anything, like, I just felt like a loser, bro, like, honestly, and I even, like, considered going to school. I was like, fuck it, like, I had always wanted to be a doctor when I was younger, so I started calling, like, schools, like, medical schools, this and that, trying to figure out like the itinerary for me to maybe go to school. And then eventually things settled down. Like I was really like I was like emotional. I was just really not in a good space. And eventually I just I got the confidence back. I was like, what, fuck it, like I have this money, like I'm just gonna trade, like whatever, and then slowly the small wins just built up, and eventually I mean, I had a little luck along the way, of course. I took advantage of my luck, but obviously the unemployment and that stuff. Like, if I got a free $15,000, like it put me on. Like definitely.
For sure. You want to go back to that story real quick, the original story, since Q's back?
Oh yeah. So when the third day ever, like I got home from Q's 5-day course. I took it August 1st, August 5th, and like by like August 9th or 10th or whatever, I flipped like $400 to like 6K. And then I remember trading. I remember I called Quillen. I called him and I said, "Yo, like NZD USD looks like a short." And and we both entered the trade, and I had like 25 lots, and Quillen we were like, oh, we're up 5K, I'm up 8K. I remember I was at dinner, and then it came like Asian session at night, and then I think there was some news that came out, and it fucked both of us up real bad, real fast. Yeah, real bad, and that was my first big loss. I lost $10,000, and I was in my boy's like bed, like curled up in the fetal position. I was like, felt like garbage. And then Q, like, he ended up catching it again, like, which was pretty savage. I remember he threw like 5 lots and caught like the another spike down or whatever.
Yo, I think I was in Louisiana when that happened. I remember that. Oh God, yeah, that was crazy. That was wild.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 very special guests in the house, so it's important for us to kind of take advantage and see if we can make the most out of this experience. James, can you talk to us about what advice you would give to somebody who's just starting out? Maybe they don't have a free 15K coming in, but they also want to have some kind of success in their trading account. What advice would you give to some new traders starting out so that they can make the most out of their trading experience?
I mean, definitely, like, the most important thing is like your skill set, your knowledge, your arsenal of tools that you have at your disposal, you know. So always continue to learn, like, no matter what, you know. You have to, like, even where I'm at and where Quillen's at, I'm sure like he learns something every day, and you know there's something to be learned out of every trade and every mistake, even with good trades and bad trades. You know, there's always something to be learned, and how you could have managed it better, how you could have done this better, done that better. And also, I mean, for new traders, like, I would just say don't expect too much too quickly, but also don't be afraid to put yourself outside of the comfort zone. You know, like I right from the beginning, like, I was able to turn small. Like, people say, oh, I don't have that much money, I don't have this, I don't have that to trade with, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I feel you, but at the same time, like, you don't need that much money, bro, because I've turned 400 into 6 in a day. I've turned 800 to 12, like, 15 whatever thousand in a day. So there's nothing really stopping you, you know, other than yourself. But sometimes, you know, there are people that just never take a risk. They never push themselves outside of what they feel comfortable. And I do that shit every day. Like, I'm just trying to push myself further and further and further, you know?
Q, would you have the same advice? So we were talking about advice to new guys and how they can get to that level. Maybe they don't have an extra 15K laying around, but maybe they're trying to get to that point where they're trying to push through and get that progress. What advice would you have?
Like James said, like, people make excuses because they're like, oh, like, I don't have $50,000 to risk. I don't have the. You don't really need that much, honestly. You know, like James said, like, you know, like he's done some crazy ass small bills to, you know, 5 figures or even 6 figures at times. You know what I'm saying? And likewise, like, I've done 1,000 to like 74,000. I've done 1,000 to like 50,000 and stuff like that. So, like, people make excuses because at the same time, like, they don't see like the potential that they have within themselves, and all that comes down to it is how good are you at the skill set, you know, like, because once the skill set is there, it doesn't even matter how much money that you have, the consistency actually follows through, and then you could actually make that small money into something that could be significant, you know?
James, do you want to ask Q anything?
Not much, man. I just want to thank you, bro, for, you know, for just, you know, being not just a mentor, but a friend to me. You know, like, you've done a lot more for me than a lot of people have, and I'm just grateful, bro, because you know, you put me in a position to accelerate as much as I have, you know? So I appreciate that, bro, for real. And where's my FIP chain?
No. Like, honestly, like, I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna create something, and like, I'm saying this here first. Like, there are certain students that I mean, I'm a person that has came from a long way that actually definitely deserves something. You know what I'm saying? So just stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be something that I got for all, like, the people that I've been seeing over the years that has grown so drastically. Well, not, I wouldn't say drastically, but at the same time, like grown so tremendously that it's impressive. It's impressive, and I'm glad to just be a part of that journey in some kind of way, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, James is gonna be like one of those people that's gonna be getting that gift eventually.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it on the Expert Trader podcast first. Q, I know that you have father duties. I appreciate you getting on. Seriously, thank you for your time. If you got to go, feel free to drop off whenever. I know that you got your hands full. If you want to stay on, obviously no one's kicking you off.
She has pizza, it's straight.
Okay, we're good to go. James, this next question is coming your way. Obviously, we had a big day today, but the days weren't always like that. In your earlier days, did you have the same attitude towards risk that you have today, or did that change over time as you started to have more success in your account?
I was definitely always willing to risk. That's why I was able to have the success that I did. But I think the manner in which that I risk is way different now. Like, and just how I go about it. Like I would take. First of all, less is more. Like I might take one trade a week. Like one really, like I don't need to trade for the rest of the week. I'm good. Like last week I took one trade. I had that 164,000. So like you really can't. I think quality over quantity is where I'm at this point. Like because just because you're taking a risk doesn't mean that it's a good risk to take. So um, that's pretty much what I have to say about that.
So in terms of somebody's looking and they're like, all right, I want to be like James. I'm just going to go throw my entire account on a trade. How is your thought process looking at these trades, and where does your confidence come from in your technical strategy to be able to leverage your trades the way that you do?
Definitely just having something that works. When there's a lot of different tools out there like that that work well. And they all are valid in some respects. So it's just about how you apply them. So like you got to know at the end of the day you got to evaluate yourself and how well how to execute your own strategy and how accurate it is. So I believe when I see a setup that I really believe in, I'm not scared to risk whatever I want to risk, because I know what lies on the other side if it's a win. And I definitely spend a lot of time. Like I've learned, I mean, Q was the first one to put me on. That doesn't mean that's the only place I learned from. I've taken bits and pieces from a lot of different places, and I kind of just developed my own thing. So, that's I believe in it.
So I guess the question I would have is, do you think that your ability to handle drawdown and your tolerance for loss is something that's natural, or is that something that's like a muscle that's built over time?
I'd say it's a combination of both. Like, as you progress, like as you get to new levels, it becomes, it's still harder. Like now I'm dealing with way bigger numbers, and maybe next month or next year I'll be dealing with even bigger numbers. So, it's but it definitely gets a little easier for sure. Like I'm definitely more used to the numbers now, but I'm still not fully there yet. So that's why I'm just making sure I pay myself. Like if I have a big trade, I gotta scale back down and just start over again. Because I don't want to. I've seen the sunshine, and then I've seen it rain on me right after. So like I gotta make sure I got my umbrella with me.
All right, so as advice to new traders, I guess this would be a pretty good place for you. I want you and Q to kind of have this discussion, which is if you make a big day, there's always the chances that you either blow your profits back in the markets, that you do something irresponsible with the profits. How do you look at taking money out of the market, and how do you look at either reinvesting it or making sure that you don't, put it back at risk?
Yeah, paying yourself is essential. So it's something I've learned, like just through a lot of nasty scars. But it's like a job. You wouldn't work a job and say, hey, like to hold my paycheck like for this week, I wanna make more money with it, like So if you're not actually, like you said before, like are you fucking making money or not? Like are you extracting money out of the market or not? Like it's that simple. Like I don't care. Like I don't care if people have some type of track record or that's great and everything. But if you're extracting money out of the market, then there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I mean, you got to pay yourself, and that's what it's all about. Is we make this because money is just a tool to fuel your passions and whatever it is that you want to do in life. So pull it out and spend it. I'm about to go to the dealership, honestly, when I get home.
So that's my question. That's my question for you is, what are you planning on doing after this big day, and how are you planning on celebrating, James?
So obviously a goal of mine is just to own a home. Like I'm still I'm still living at home, to be honest with you. So like that's one of my goals, is just to purchase my first home. And then I've actually told that was one of the first things I ever told Quillen. I don't know if you remember, but like the first thing I said to you when you had the M3, I was like, yeah, M3 is nice, but I'm a Porsche guy, and I want a 911 turbo, like nothing crazy, but that's like I mean I have an older 911, I have like a 99 911, but like I want like a 991 or a 992, so that's like that's my dream car. So, and also just I would love to just retire my parents, like just take bills off my mom's back, like I help my mom out, like pay some shit here and there, so like just pay it forward, because she's like my whole support system, and she's been there for me, so that's I gotta pay it back,
100%, bro. Like, I definitely believe in you have to pay yourself. Like, why? Like, why are you going all these hours and hours and hours and days and weeks and weeks and weeks studying and grinding and busting your ass trying to understand a certain craft when you're not paying yourself? Like, so as you make these big days, like, you have to pretty much upgrade some aspect of your life. Like, it can be where you live, like your car, like, invest it, in like a project that you have like going on, put towards the family, like, put money somewhere so it could feel like you've actually done something. If you're not paying yourself, then you're literally just making your MT4 look cool. It's just numbers. It's literally digital numbers. It's not, nothing is being benefited from it being inside your account all the time. So I feel like, like, definitely after like a huge day, you have to like take out a portion of it, like pay yourself, like upgrade something so you could actually keep on going, knowing that that one thing actually made it happen. James won 911 Turbo. That's more than possible. You know what I'm saying? You could easily put that down on a house. Like, you could do so much that is going to show and make you a lot more comfortable in what you have like going on at the moment. But also that's going to push you a lot more to wanting to do it again, and then be greater and like, like just have everything a bit more organized. So like, as you're actually making the future big days, you're easily putting that towards something else, and people that don't do that, like, I mean, they just trade, and I don't feel like a person gets a lot of benefit from just trading all the time. You got to just literally take out some money and then pay yourself. Put all all your bills on auto pay. Like, I've had my bills on auto pay for the past couple years, bro. I don't even worry about mortgage. I don't worry about say a car payment, because only one of my cars is on being financed like right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't worry about those things because it's literally on auto pay. So like, trade to the point that it can make your life easier. You know what I'm saying? Put your bills on auto pay. Pay off this, pay off that, pay off this, pay off that. Credit cards on auto pay. Like, so like, you're only focusing on what's important, which is going to be getting better at the skill set.
All right, I want to put both of you guys on blast because I love this conversation. Everybody needs to hear these power conversations because they happen in private, but when you put them back out in the public, it gives everyone a chance to appreciate what's really going on here. Can you guys give some advice to the traders that are starting off? Let's say they have a $1,000 or $5,000 account, and they really want to get to the point where they're leveling up. They don't want to just sit there and play small with this game. They want to kick it on overdrive. What advice do you give to those folks?
First things first, understand the information. Understand the information, understand the material, understand your edge. Like James said, like, he didn't just learn from me, he learned from other people along the way, which is probably very, very important. So like, if you meet someone else that you like their style, like how they go about things, fucking invest with them, whatever. Like, listen, it's a part of the niche. Like, you got to pretty much, if you come across knowledge that you can benefit from, cool, go ahead and invest. Like, don't be scared or don't be timid to just like try to work with someone else, because that could be like a pride thing and that kind of stuff. But like, there's even some people that within like my circle and everything that I respect their craft to the point that they've helped me in certain cases. You know what I'm saying? And so invest in a knowledge, invest inside a craft, because that money that you might have that you want to trade with is going to literally mean nothing. It's going to be gone in no time if you're not investing in something that could actually benefit your edge, benefit your skill set, benefit some part of your trading, so you could actually comprehend the material a lot easier and that kind of thing. So like, I wouldn't say just, jump straight into the trading thing. Invest out of craft more so you could actually then better comprehend like what's going on. So you then eventually build that style that you want to, trade with.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. I mean, like I said earlier, your knowledge is your arsenal. Like, that's literally it. Like, that's understanding your edge and knowing like how well you're able to apply your strategy and what works and what doesn't. And yeah, I mean, some people try to like they wonder why they're not successful and they haven't put the work in, they haven't learned, they haven't really actually invested their time into and applying things. And even people that trade, like, they stay on demo accounts or whatever, like, demo is cool and everything, but at a certain point, bro, like you got to develop the emotional intelligence. You got to develop like all that other stuff, you know. So it's not just about, you know, it's like you can practice all you want, like you can go to the batting cage, but you know, when you're actually playing in the game, like it's way different, you know.
That's yeah, that's priceless advice. Yeah, punching bag doesn't hit back, and so getting that real time practice is very important. Now, I really want to hear about what's next for you guys. A lot of folks see you as having, let's say, quote unquote, made it, but I know that both of you guys have the personality where there's always something else. And so, where do you see yourself going, not just in trading, but in the rest of your life in general? And Q, you can kick us off with this one.
I mean, like I said, like, nowadays, like, that's why, like, I haven't showed profits in the past like 8 months. I probably showed a little bit this month, like right here, because I haven't really traded like for like 5, 6 months of the entire year. And the past like couple weeks was like my first weeks trading again. You know what I'm saying? So like, I did great, cool. Now I'm back to like my other projects, which is outside of trading, because when people get so caught up in trading, like, it's just trading, like there's so much more aspects of life. That's why like I'm working on the compound and like all these other projects that I could feel like, that's kind of like making my dreams come to reality in a sense, like the dreams that where I want to actually store something, or like, where my passions can actually be all in like one land and that kind of thing. And yeah, just like, just small projects like outside of trade, it could be some small business ventures and that kind of thing. So I mean, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past like months, honestly, just working on these new businesses, working on my projects, and yeah, and just making sure that this little one is good.
That's the most important thing. You're one of the most inspirational father figures that we've seen. Having the lifestyle and being able to live like that, but also being a family man is very admirable. Q, I know that you love to travel. You were just in California. Do you have any other tour spots on your schedule?
Yeah, I'm actually going to Hawaii on Sunday.
Okay, very coincidental.
Yeah, happy birthday, bro. It's gonna be your birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. Like on Sunday is my birthday actually. So like I'm gonna be in Hawaii for like about a week or so. Just vibing, chilling, just enjoying
Pull up.
what Hawaii has to offer.
Oh man, James is asking if you have room for two more. So we'll fly out there and meet you out there.
Oh shit, that should be fucking lit. But it's a date type thing. So
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
All right. That's all you. Enjoy yourself for real. Lamborghinis in Hawaii. Let's see how that goes. James, we want to hear what's next for you. You just had an amazing day. I know that you're planning on going and enjoying yourself. There's some cars in the menu, but what is next for James Storms?
I mean, yeah, I've always been passionate about cars, but like that's just a material thing. But I mean, I love cars and motorcycles and shit like that. But really, obviously, like I said before, just having the freedom of my time and not having to work or give someone else my time. I'm really passionate about music actually. So music is something I've always done, and I've never, I never really gave it my fullest effort, like making a project, and, like, it's expensive, to shoot videos and pay producers and all shit like that. So, like, I actually, really fuck with music, and I'd like to make some type of project. And beyond that, I just want to travel. Like, I really want to see, I want to see the world, I'm actually, I'm Greek, and I'm going to go to Greece for the first time in like a couple weeks, actually. I'm going to run a marathon while I'm there. I've been training for this marathon for, like, the last, like, 6 months. So that's gonna be like a fucking milestone for me. But yeah, beyond that, I just want to just see like every site there is to see.
And I feel like those experiences, like what James said, is literally like what it's all about. Like go to fucking Greece and run a marathon, bro. Why not? Right? It's like it's like doing things that's like super out of the ordinary that people don't even expect, because you just have like that freedom to do so, honestly. And like I feel like once that freedom is actually there, you're actually living. Because like I have posted in the group yesterday, I was like, yo, the retirement age now is 66 and 2 months. So when you live, like you're starting to live like when you're 67 now and that kind of stuff, like to like live life like how you want to, versus living life like how you want to in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. Like your entire lifespan, you're enjoying every bit of it, And I feel like just having that power to even do so is just so powerful, because you're doing what you are passionate about and like what you really, really want to do, versus doing what you have to do.
There is no better note to end the podcast on. Ladies and gentlemen, you only get one life. You're not going to live from 66 to 80, so make sure that you make it count every step of the way. James Storms, Quillen Black, I appreciate you both for being guests on the Expert Trader podcast. This has been another amazing episode. Take it easy. Happy and safe trading.